As Games Workshop prepare to release their most expansive, audacious, and ambitious campaign so far, the Psychic Awakening, let us look at the first legion of the Legiones Astartes, the mighty Dark Angels. I shall be prognosticating on what I would like to occur. Please remember that this is not what I think will occur. I claim no insider knowledge, and this is merely what I feel could be introduced by Games Workshop to bring about their most dramatic and exceptional story so far. Of my three choices, I think you'll find my top pick is not what you would expect. But first, let us introduce the Dark Angels. To quote, "And the angels of darkness descended upon pinions of fire and light, the great and terrible Dark Angels," by Luther upon seeing the warriors of the First Legion. End quote. The proud First Legion. They are true sons of the Emperor, for they have been fighting alongside that august personage earlier than any of the Legiones Astartes. The first, the Dark Angels, took to the field in the days of the Unification Wars, and it is undoubtable that their contribution to the Emperor's victory was as large as the Custodes, if not the Thunder Warriors who came before them. Ever the most successful of all of the legions, the first were also the most numerous until the dreaded Xenocide against the Rangdan and their slaughtered murder mines, which many consider the most terrible war the Crusade encountered, and only fractionally less horrific than the heresy. The truth has been lost or expunged, but it is rumoured that the Xenocide against the Rangdan Herbivores may have been the undoing of the Lost Legions, the 2nd and the 11th, before the mighty First Legion were forced to end the matter with their customary pragmatism and power. Even so, they were ever the most storied of all of the Legion, except only the Lunar Wolves, who fell to evil. But the proud sons of the Lion hold a secret of which only they know, at which even the Holy Inquisition can only guess. A secret they fear will threaten their very existence. For during the Horus Heresy, some of the first did turn to the ways of chaos, led by the closest friend the Lion had, Luther, his mentor, before he was discovered by the Crusade. When the Lion returned from the travesty of terror, he found his hearth and home the den of traitors. The Lion ordered their immediate annihilation, and bombarded his homeworld from orbit with such force that the planet itself came apart. Many of the treacherous scum were scooped up by the ruinous powers and scattered through time. So dire and direct was the onslaught of the loyal first in their retribution. Alas, this is also when the Lion fell into a great sleep, his sons now thinking he had died on the surface of the planet while it shattered before their very eyes. Hence they have hidden the truth and hunted their fallen brothers to the ends of the Imperium, never knowing when war may muster after being blurted out of the war, thinking no time has passed. The first, the Dark Angels, name themselves the Unforgiven until this smear on their honor is forever expunged. The Dark Angels are a legion that are haunted by this feeling of failure, and this gives them a zeal that can only be matched by the Black Templars. Often they are jibed at by other fans of the lore as being traitors, tainted, or chaos scum. But this is pure jealousy, and GW seem to be taking steps to end these taunts in new lore, purely because they are patently untrue. For in all of the Imperium, only the Imperial Fists can come even close to the unflinching loyalty that is displayed by the Dark Angels in their every battle, their every campaign, their endurance in defense of the Imperium of Man for over 10,000 years. So we come to my number 3. Again, I find this inevitable and will not dwell on it. The leadership of the Dark Angels are no less courageous than the Ultramarines and will cross the Rubicon Primaris eventually. I feel it will be facilitated by their campaign book for the Psychic Awakening. So, Azrael, Samael, and their other brothers of the Dark Angels will become Primaris and have lavish new models given to us from GW, because the Dark Angel line is most certainly lavish. My number 2. My second choice is an inevitability as well. Mortarian has stated as much in a recent publication from the Black Library, but of whom do I speak? The most gifted in the arts of war, the most successful Primarch by leagues, whose conquests were second only to Horus, despite the decades that Lupercal had before this person's discovery. A tactical genius on an instinctive level, not a plotter or schemer or petty bureaucrat who gained victory by bringing overwhelming force or grinding down his enemies with logistics or trickery. No. Some say he is the ultimate Primarch, who could evaluate a battle in the flick of an eye, and do what no other could, win against insurmountable odds with a flexibility of thinking that could not even be matched by Horus Lupercal. I give you the Primarch of the First Legion, the Lion who roars, Lion L. Johnson. But what will the Lion make of the Imperium and how his brother, Gulliman, has ruled thus far? I cannot see it ending well. So we come to my top pick, my number one for the Dark Angels and the Psychic Awakening. To quote, black-clad huntsmen are masters of the art of lightning warfare. The Ravenwing race before their chapter like thunder before a storm. Prizing speed and mobility above all else, they are an integral part of the Dark Angels' battlefield strategies, as well as a powerful asset in the Unforgiven's secret quest. Engines roaring, the Ravenwing tear forward, dodging enemy fire while moving at breakneck speed. A highly specialized formation that fights from fast-moving attack vehicles. They are assembled from the finest riders and pilots in the chapter, and their skills are further honed upon induction. The Ravenwing is the name of the second company of the Dark Angels chapter of Space Marines, and is usually used as the name for the second company of all of the Dark Angels successor chapters. The Ravenwing company is a highly specialized unit that is intended to make use of mobility and speed to defeat the enemy rather than heavy firepower. End quote. In an age where there are new gravity-defying tanks, thanks to Call, surely there must be a return to the jet bike, which aided the forces of the Imperium during the Great Crusade. The First Legion were ever known to be the most able to test new weapons and equipment, and received them first. Gulliman is returning to form out of instinct, and I believe he will resurrect this ancient custom. But this would also be to honor the First Legion, the Dark Angels chapter and all of its successors, for without them the Imperium would have been lost over the long 10,000 years of his slumber. Thus I believe that the very first Legion who will gain access to the new jet bikes will be the illustrious first, and we shall see the Ravenwing strike terror into the hearts of the enemies of the Imperium. Gentle listener, I have been Baldermort, your faithful servant. But have I erred? Have I missed anything fundamental? I invite you to tell me in the comments and perhaps suggest which faction you yearn to be introduced next.